Welcome to the Afterspin, opinions from thought leaders in our state. I want to ask Patrick, Sebastian, and Rufus Edmiston, these are serious times with serious issues, so it's kind of refreshing for a change to discuss topics that aren't quite so urgent. Now, in many cities across the state, the discussion is about birds. To be specific, the bird electronic scooters that have popped up in large numbers. Now, to ride, a person has to download an app, pledge to be over 16, and state that he or she will wear a helmet. But an increasing number of accidents, coupled with obvious disregard for the terms, has many communities considering more stringent regulations. Patrick, what's your take on these e-scooters, as they're called?
I think they're great. I've rode them in D.C., Washington, D.C. a few weeks ago, and I rode them from my house to Cameron Village last week. I enjoy them, and it's kind of nice, just a little change of transportation. You don't have to worry about parking as much, and they're fun too. And I emailed my city council, which I don't think I've ever done before, and asked them, please do not put any more regulations on them than you have to.
Rufus, how have you enjoyed riding these e-scooters?
The day you see me riding one of those e-scooters, you'll see a hog on a skateboard. Now, Patrick would look much better scooting down the road, I'm sure, in his thin physique. Let me tell you what I saw the other day in front of my building, which is at the busiest intersection of Hargett Street
and
Salisbury in Raleigh, North Carolina. These three kids, now I'm not going to try to be a fair-going age guesser, but I surmise that they were 16 or under. Three of them were on one scooter, and they almost had a wreck right in front of my building at the intersection. Of course, I was going to be ready with my calling cards out there to throw them out and say attorney at law. But
ambulance chasing, scooter chasing.
And I just thought to myself, I see them every day from a perch up there on the third floor, and I like the idea that young people do them, but I've seen no one over 40, no one who is big boned, as my mother would say. If you're over 250 pounds, you're big boned.
Now listen, I've seen people over 40 riding the darn things, but I mean, there are a lot of accidents that have resulted.
Either they've got to do this. They've either got to say you can ride on the sidewalk, or you've got to stay on the highway, because sometimes they come zipping by you, and they're sort of like a hybrid car. A hybrid car can sneak up on you because there's nothing but electricity going on. These things are invisible as far as hearing them coming. And I think with some reasonable regulations, I like the idea. I think we ought to have alternative transportation modes.
Is this just a trend, though, Patrick?
It's going to be a trend if they're over-regulated. I know for sure. I mean, if they make you jump through all these hoops, I'm not going to ride them anymore. And you know what's really cool about them too is if you ride one from Cameron Village to my house, for instance, they track that, and then they'll have a scooter out there the next day, because they're assuming that, wow, this neighborhood, they're using them. So I just think they're cool. I think it's an option. If you lose your keys, we can get on a scooter out the door and just go on your merry way. I like them, and I hope they keep them.
Either somebody's making an awful lot of money off these things, or they're losing an awful lot of money.
The problem is, though, a lot of these cities are now starting to charge these exorbitant fees at the to have, for each scooter, you have to pay this huge permit.
One I heard was $500.
It's insane. So
and don't forget, you've got Lime, too. You've got two, and I think they said we're going to divide it evenly and charge them about $500 was the proposal. I think that's outrageous. Just put
for $500, Rufus will come pick you up.
I'll come pick you up.
And then they're going to pass that down to us, and then who's going to want to pay for that?
Well, with minimum regulation, I think it's a great idea.
Well, minimum regulation, I would think, would be helmets, because a lot of these people, though, have fallen on their heads and have hurt their heads.
Well, people get in car accidents too.
A lot of people question what was in it to start off with. Well, anyway, thank you for watching the Afterspin. We'll have more video all during the week on ncspin.com.